Quite literally, in 2025, we experienced gerrymandering in 2 states, Texas a few months ago, and last week in North Carolina. This is something that is still happening today. They have restructured.
Don't forget Jackson, Mississippi.
Correct. They've restructured the seats to be able to boot Black Democrats out of the seats and get white conservatives in. This is something that is structurally still affecting Black Americans and Black people in America today. It's a part of everything that we do.
Segregation. We were talking about segregation. With segregation, I've seen a lot of Black people online say that they were better off when they were segregated, or saying that they would rather be segregated, that they don't want to be integrated with whites because it causes that imbalance where they either feel like they're treated inferior or they feel like they're treated with racial bias and so on and so forth. There have been people calling for segregation again because they're tired of feeling that they are discriminated against because of their race. But the good thing about America is that, in my view, America holds the majority or the most Black billionaires in the world. And the good thing about America is that in this country, we aren't held to our ancestors' class. Like in India, you can't get above your class in one generation. Here in America, in one generation, you can go from poor to rich. So I understand that there's a lot of talk about history and what happened and everything was bad, but in this country, is so unique. You can't do it in any other country. You can move up in one generation. There's no need to be held to your ancestors or wherever they were or however they were treated. There's no other country, in my view, that gives Black Americans more opportunities than America. I don't see any other African nation giving more opportunities to Black people. I don't see any other European nations giving more opportunities to Black people than America. America is the land of the opportunities, and that's for every race. That's for all of us, not just one.
Okay.
They took the most from them too. They got to do it.
I just want to say that we created those opportunities. Nobody handed them to us. I just want to throw that out there. Sorry, Amir.
Go ahead, Freddie.
If you guys created the opportunities, you guys should be the ones taking the most advantage of them.
Right. So when it comes to answering the question, how much of today's behavior come from history, things in history like slavery and Jim Crow, it's not like those two things don't exist in a bubble, and they affect everything about us. When you break down epigenetics, that's a part of how we generational trauma is passed down. It's ingrained in us. If you think about even the talk that Black men have with their sons when they deal with police, like it is a part of our culture to make sure we understand how to navigate in these circumstances. It's a part of everything that we do. When you speak about crime, one of the biggest determinants on crime is socioeconomic status. And if 80% of the wealth gap is literally attributed to slavery and Jim Crow, then it would be assumed that the group of people that are at a disparity in that dynamic would then be the ones committing crime because they're experiencing the most poverty systemically, strategically. And we see those systemic structures still today. Quite literally, in 2025, we experienced gerrymandering in 2 states, Texas a few months ago, and last week in North Carolina. This is something that is still happening today. They have restructured.
Don't forget Jackson, Mississippi.
Correct. They've restructured the seats to be able to boot Black Democrats out of the seats and get white conservatives in. This is something that is structurally still affecting Black Americans and Black people in America today. It's a part of everything that we do. And I also want to point out something else too. When it comes to accountability, we say, let's be accountable for everything we do today. This system is set up to remove accountability from white men and white people in general. White women have been arming and protecting their men by scapegoating Black people for centuries, Black men specifically for centuries. White men have been able to get away with all types of sexual crimes and atrocities because they've been able to blame Black men for it. If you think about the case of George Stinney, a child, 80 plus pounds, who was put to the chair because he was accused of raping and unaliving 2 young girls who were his size. That was the white man that did that. Did they ever catch him? No, they didn't. So they have been able to scapegoat Black people for centuries, remove accountability from themselves for centuries. Y'all have been able to do that. These men have been roaming around. You think about Ted Bundy, BTK, all these people, 30 plus years roaming around, taking out white women all over, just taking them out all over the country without any kind of accountability. Why? Because they come from a small town, and who would have ever assumed everyone leaves their house, their doors open? Because we're only afraid of the Tyrones and the Pookies and the Ray Rays. Nobody's thinking about the Chads and the Brads that are out there taking people out. So the fact of the matter is that when you talk about what shapes today, everything about slavery, about Jim Crow, about Reconstruction, about systemic racism shapes what we do today. I am not saying, and to Ila's point, and I cannot believe I'm agreeing with Ila.
You can believe
but
it.
Listen, this is not to remove accountability. If you work in tech, if you work in HR, if you work in sales, if you work in medicine, you understand root cause analysis. You get to the root cause to find the solution.
All right, Cooley, I'm going to switch it up. I got another question I'm going to put into play. Do you think some people hide behind history to dodge accountability?
Do I think people hide behind history to dodge accountability? I would say, yeah, this definitely happens. People do hide behind history to, dodge accountability. We see this with Black people today. It kind of alludes to what I said before, and I'll expound on the point a little bit more so you guys can understand. I think that history is very important, super important. I think that memories are super important, right? Memories and history, all of this is important, but it's only important if it's utilized to extract out lessons learned. You don't utilize memories to dwell and become a victim. You don't utilize history to dwell and become a victim. You utilize memories and history to extract out lessons learned, and that's what Black people truly haven't been doing. If they knew anything about a history, they would know that taking handouts from the government like SNAP is not good for anything at all. It's not good for the community because you're going to be relying on the government forever. You need to get out there and build something for yourself. I think that when we look at the history of, Jim Crow, prior to Jim Crow, I think Pretty Intellectual was speaking about some stuff. We had Black Wall Street, Black people was building stuff. We were looking out for self. But then when, things, we started eating at white restaurants, stopped funding our own restaurants and stuff like that. So we should utilize that history, those memories, extract out the lessons learned, know that they don't work for our community, and build some unity within our community. Look at the Jew. Look at the small hats. The small hats. Look at the small hats. They do it all the time, right? They got some unity over there. So stop looking at those white people and look at the other white people, because I truly think they all white. They all European. You get what I'm saying? So we look at those, see what they doing, and like, okay, all right, take some pointers from that. We need to build a community. We don't go against our community. We need ideology. We have no ideology within our culture. What's our true ideology within Black culture? We don't have we adopt the white man's ideology. Christianity, truthfully, is not. I don't believe that, but a lot of people call that's the white man's ideology. I think that Christianity is for all, but I think that when we get away from our core principles, like a hierarchy, like a patriarch, when we get away from that, it becomes very detrimental to the Black family. We need some leadership. Things need to be organized, and only men have the capacity to bring order within the household and to bring order within the community.